together growing in faith, changing communities. My dear brothers and sisters, tonight I would like us to reflect briefly on the Gospel of Matthew 28, verses 1 to 10. It is the last chapter of this Gospel in which Matthew gives us what I call an important message. The first one, he wants to report what had happened to Jesus who had been crucified. If you were to listen to the Gospel of Matthew, you realize that Jesus dies a lonely death. It is possibly one of the most painful accounts that we hear of Jesus. Both Matthew and Mark give us an account of Jesus who dies as a lonely man. You remember on a Palm Sunday, Jesus had cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me? Why have you abandoned me?" And sometimes there comes moments in our lives when we feel all lost, when we feel frustrated, and we feel as if God has rejected us, has abandoned us, has forgotten about us. Then the worst scenario happens when Jesus eventually dies on the cross. But Matthew wants to end his account by giving us a miracle. When he says to us, there was a great earthquake, and the angel of the Lord came down from heaven in order to make a reality of the resurrection of Jesus Christ known to us. My reading of that phrase says to me, there was no one on earth who could bring about the resurrection of Jesus except God himself. And what I probably want to say to each and every one of us tonight, whatever you have been going through, whatever has been happening in your life, I want to assure you that God knows, God notices, and God brings down his angel to bring about a change in your life. There's a third element for me. When an earthquake happens, there is a sense of disruption. There is a sense of chaos. And so too in our lives, some things may not happen smoothly. You may go through trials. You may go through turbulences. You may go through sufferings. But some of those sufferings are not meant to destroy you, but they are meant to enhance you. They are meant to help you to transform into a different phase of your life. I also want to talk about, you may be going through certain issues as a family. Things are not working out. What you have planned for is not coming forth. What you have invested into is not giving you profit. What you have trusted has betrayed you. Not every difficulty you go through is meant to destroy you. Some of the things you go through are meant to encourage you, but are meant to strengthen you. Then there is something I find absolutely important. The angel of the Lord said to the women, "Do not be afraid. I know you seek Jesus who was crucified. He is not here. He has risen." There are 3 words. Do not be afraid. There's no need to fear. No matter what, you may not understand. You may not have the solution. It may look bleak. You may have lost hope. But I want to assure you, do not be afraid. I will not have become a Catholic priest if there was no resurrection. That is the only thing that made me want to remain a Catholic priest. Because if there is no resurrection, it means ngeke ngimbone ugogo mase ngifile. But because there is a resurrection, it means mangifa ngiyakusibona isithando sami. And so for me, the resurrection becomes the center, becomes the foundation, not only of my faith, but of the reason why I continue to remain a Catholic priest. Do not be afraid. That's number 1. Point number 2, that the angel says, I know what you are looking for. I know what you've been praying for. My dear brothers and sisters, there are moments in our lives when we pray to God and we feel as if God does not listen. There are moments when we pray to God, we feel as if God shuts his ears on our prayers. There are moments when we feel that God prefers so and so rather than me. I want to assure you today, the Lord hears your prayers. My dear brothers and sisters, the Lord does not hear our prayers because we are holy. He does not hear our prayers because we are innocent. He does not hear our prayers because we are so good. No, he hears our prayers because he is our God. He is the one who loves us. uNkulunkulu akasenzeli umusa ngoba nakho singcono. uNkulunkulu akasenzeli isihawu ngoba nakho singcwele. Usenzela ngoba uyasithanda. Uthi umkhuleko wamaRoma ukumbonga kwethu akuthayiseni lutho kuyena. Even the desire to thank him is itself his gift. Akukho esingakwenza esingabonga ngakho uNkulunkulu ngaphandle kokuba silethe uqobo lwethu kuyena. Sometimes we feel as if we are hitting a brick. And sometimes we are tempted to give up. Sometimes we want to fall back. Sometimes we even ask, why bother trying? Namhlanje uNkulunkulu, I know what you are seeking. I know what you desire. Abanye bethu ubusuku nemini kuNkulunkulu silethi inyembezi because we are stuck, because we are afraid, because we panic, and uNkulunkulu knows it. It's like uthi namhlanje kuthina inyembezi zakho seyibonakele. Imkhuleko yakho seyizwakele. Ngathi uthi uNkulunkulu namhlanje sekwanele ungabusakhana. And I believe that. My dear brothers and sisters, the resurrection for me assures me ukuthi nothing is impossible with God. It may take us years. It may take us whatever pain, trials, tribulations, but at the end of the day, uNkulunkulu wethu akahluleki. My dear brothers and sisters, I'm convinced ukuthi uNkulunkulu akawuqala umsebenzi ozomhlula. I'm convinced uNkulunkulu akaphakamisa umuntu amshiye awathi bhalakaxa. I'm convinced uNkulunkulu beqala ibuilding akayishiye uphahla lungekho. I'm convinced ukuthi whatever God has promised you, even mina nawe sesehlulekile. Khona le ndoda engiyithandayo le khuluma ku TikTok ithi mshana. Khona point ayishoyo uma ethi mshanami lalela uma laba okwamele bakuphakamise sebafa uthi lalela mshana ngeke bakuthola ukuphumula wena ungakaphakami. And I believe that about God. Thandazami, why do I believe in the resurrection? Because mangifa ngifuna ukubona amakhehla zakwazi. Because mangifa ngifuna ukumbona uNkulunkulu ethembeka. Because mangifunda incwadi yesambulo athi bebuza kuJohannes athi bangobani abagqoke ezimhlophe abeza la athi uNkulunkulu abavele ezweni nasemhlabeni okuhluphekene okukhulu kodwa bayigezile ingubo zabo egazini lewundlu. That I'm convinced of. No, I'm convinced ukuthi one day uNkulunkulu uyosukuma ehlalweni sobukhosi asesule inyembezi. I'm convinced ukuthi ngelinye ilanga uyothatha umqhele asibeke wona. I'm convinced ngeke kwenzeke kufeni uzokwenza siphila. That I'm convinced of. That's why I believe in the resurrection. There's another point in Ngelosi ayishoyo. He's not dead anymore. He's alive. Akekho kufeni. Ukufa could not hold him any further. Death could not hold him any longer. Yes, now it may be said. Yes, now you may be struggling. Financially, you are down. Awusebenzi. Imali yanyamalala. Abantwana basebenzi. Uhlelwe ikhaya neyimoto. Nikabena nzwani. But tell yourself and tell the devil, this is not the end of me. Ngeke ngishone nginje. Ngeke kuphele unje. That's what the resurrection teaches, says, affirms, reminds us. This is not the end. It may seem bad. It may seem impossible, but He is the God of the impossible. The last point that I find absolutely amazing. Ithi Ngelosi mekhuluma nabesifazane. Ithi usevukile hambani nina niye eGalile la ayithe siyohlangana khona. Wethandwa zami, uke waba muhle uNkulunkulu empilweni yakho. Uke wathembeka uNkulunkulu empilweni yakho. Uke wambona uNkulunkulu esebenza empilweni yakho. Uke wambona uNkulunkulu ebaphilisa emndenini wakho. Uke wambona uNkulunkulu ehamba nawe. What makes you think uzokushiya manje? Ngokuhlupheka nje omncane. Ngosizi nje lwamanje. Athi mebhala kahle uPostoli Paul ebhalela ibandla labaseRoma athi inhlupheko zanganeno. Athi aziyakufaniswa nenkazimulo uThixo asibekele yona. Wethandwa zami uthe enhlizweni yami akuvuke kumina ukuthi singamenzi sehluleke uNkulunkulu. Yazi uNkulunkulu mebhala incwadi ligama lakhe athi abantu bamabenzi izinto zabo ebese beyangilinga. Yazi mina ngiyayithanda inkonzo yokulinga uNkulunkulu. Yazi besifuna ukuya kuJehova sithi uma ngempela wamvusa uJesu kwabafileyo ngeke ihlule lento. Lokho engibhekene nakho manje, lenkinga engibhekene nayo ngeke ihlule. uJehova simlinge. Bese sibona ngeke nawavule amasango ezulu maqedana senzele izibusiso zakhe. Khona inkonzo engiyithandayo mangikhuleka engayifundisa uHezekiya athi for the sake of your name. Athi ngenxa yegama lakho. Yabona thando zami nizoma sezingishaya. Mina ngiyamtshela umfana kaMaria ngithi mina abantu bazohleka wena. Yabona mase sesinshaya sekonakala sekuphethuka izinto sekucatshanwa sekubheda kele mina weJesu angisukanga mina ekhaya ngayothatha upriest kakade akubona obami obakho obakini abantu bazohleka wena. Lesikhonto engiyithandayo ngoba uJesu mangeke ngasho njalo angazi nokuba wakhe nomtshelayo ukuthi sukubheda wena hamba uvikela upriest bakho. Ngiyayazi leyo nkonzo ngoba phela fanele ngikutshele ukuthi wandoda ngiyacela womfowethu ungisize kodwa ngemudikini sala nabo khona uNkulunkulu into ayaziyo. uNkulunkulu akafuni ukuba isehluleke, kafuni fana noMikhayeli fana noJudas Thaddeus athi ngingangenzi isehluleke mina athi ngiyokulwa ngekhopha zami zonke. Konje ekugcine ngifuna ukisho mina ithemba zami uJesu asibuyele eGalile lethu la uNkulunkulu akaba muhle khona, la ukawambona empilweni yakho. Bengifisa uyikhumbuze mase konakala ukuthi namhlanje ngixakekile kodwa ngiyamazi sawuNkulunkulu wenala. Namhlanje ngihleze ebumnyameni ngiyabazi uNkulunkulu okukhanya. Namhlanje anginakho ukudla ngiyamazi uNkulunkulu ongiphe konke. Ndofikazi ezulu ayibenathi sibusise isivikeni isikhanyisele yena onguyise nendodana nomoya ocwebileyo. Amen.